up, guys? John from heavysettactical. Today we're taking a look at one of my new knives from Work Tough Gear, and it is an appendix carry. You can scout carry it, you can carry it in a lot of different ways. But this is the this exact model is the Kitsune T in SK85. Their OD green handle scale with that kind of Rocky Mountain tread on the G10. Just an excellent change, and when I do change from the original Kitsune design. So when I go up and do the tabletop after my review, we're going to talk about specs, pricing, some competitive options, other things. I'm going to also show you guys just the differences and the similarities between the Kitsune S and T and then the Kitsune L, which is the first variant that I had. So yeah, let's dive into it. We're going to thump on this thing today, do some industrial cutting, cut some cardboard, see how that nice, more thin profile with almost that recurve to it. We're going to see how this fares, because I'll tell you what, guys, Work Tough Gear, one thing I always say about Work Tough Gear is their edges impress me. Taking the time to have each of their knives have a polished grind on them, you know, and how sharp they come out of the box is just really awesome. That convex edge is just beautiful and really well done. But this knife is probably one of the sharpest knives I've ever gotten from them. Also, really loving the jimping that they chose to do. You know, it's really shallow and very thin, so it has a lot of grab, but it's not sharp on the edges. 90-degree spine as always, so we're going to test this out as a little fire prep knife, do some feather sticking, stuff like that. Let's dive into it. So what's up, guys? John from heavysettactical. We're going to thump on this this Kitsune a little bit, this Kitsune T, and the OD green variant. We're going to thump on it a little bit with some more industrial things. This is a great urban carry knife because of that deep choil and the fact that that handle is so bulbous. You can really have a grip on there. I'm telling you, this is one of the best as far as grips go. One of the best, more eccentric ideas that I have had in a long time. You can definitely use this in a self-defense role if need be. You know, most things you can if you had to, but yeah, that deep finger choil, I really like that. So most of the time though, this is probably going to be you know, like an EDC knife just for work. You know, guys in the more blue collar fields, we're going to test that point. We're going to see if this SK85 breaks that tip. You know, we're going to really check it out today. So let's do some baton through some 1x, some pressure treated 1x. Something about Work Tough Gear knives, they just always baton really well. So I really think, especially because of this edge, sorry for the lighting, the light's coming from behind me, you could probably use this for a little bit of a campfire knife too. It's just so slicey. Guys, sometimes the versatility of Work Tough Gear blades is just crazy. So this is a 2x that I had batoned some pieces of before. So let's go on the 2x, see how this one runs. Like butter. Now I got this massive piece that I started before. I'm going to go right in this channel here. I'll tell you what, guys, there's something about a good old Work Tough Gear convex to edge blade. Look at that. Oh my God. Look at that. Dude, this is like literally the craziest little knife, field knife. Jesus. Dude, this thing is crazy. The bite on it is crazy. Even for some light carving. Might not be the most comfortable swedge up top with a sharp 90-degree spine for carving, you know, but I love that recurve. You can run stuff right in that recurve. Just looking at that edge. Just a really, really functional blade. Tough thing. Tough little thing. What's up, guys? One of the more kind of arbitrary tasks that I really do like seeing, you know, because I do use my smaller EDC knives for a lot of breaking down boxes. You know, when you're doing inventory at work and you need something good. Oh, yeah. And you need something good and slicey for breaking down cardboard. This is some double-walled cardboard, so I just want to see how this knife goes through it. You saw me run that point. I got hung up on the sharpening choil there. But yeah, I just want to make sure that this edge is as slicey as I think it is. And it just goes right through there. Sometimes it gets hung up on the choil, and because of the recurve in there, you have to watch. Sometimes you got to rock it a little bit or change your angle, and that it has that really precise tip there. That's another thing I'm a big fan of. This is a super slicey knife. Super slicey knife. Really, really enjoying it so far. To be honest with you, when it came, I thought it was going to be one of the knives that I used the least out of them. And I'm telling you guys, it's probably going to get just as much use as the Bushcrafter EDC and the Wolverine. It is an excellent, oh, I was on that ridge. I'm trying to go in between these slats on the tailgate here. But yeah, having that precise tip to be able to, you know, pry something out or open a package really precisely without cutting the, you know, the interior product. I wish I had some single walled. This would probably go through it like a lightsaber. Now, for some reason, it's bunching up a little bit. Let me see if I put a nick in there by accident. No. It does bunch up a little bit on this thick double-walled stuff, but it's a very, very slicey knife. Don't get me wrong. This thing is very, and that fine point for penetrating is just excellent. I mean, this is such a slicey, fine cutting point here. I'm a big fan of this knife, guys, really. Double-walled cardboard cutting is kind of funny. Sometimes it could seem like the knife isn't, you know, very good, but at cutting it. I mean, not that it's not a good knife because I can't cut cardboard with it, but it's just got that slicey profile. Okay, so I found that sweet spot, guys, and with that recurve, it's coming down right on that recurve to grab that material. I should have saw that earlier. Oh yeah. So just an excellent, you know, excellent EDC knife at work, breaking down boxes, even just, you know, slight tasks like that. Me, I use my knives for a little more of a, you know, a little harder use than most people probably do. To be honest with you guys, when you start buying knives, when I was younger and I started buying more expensive knives, right, and I didn't have a career yet, I didn't have a job that paid a lot yet, you know, all my money was going to beer on the weekends and goofy things like that, you know. When I bought an expensive knife, and I'm sure some of you guys can understand this, when you buy a really expensive knife, which this is not, this is a very affordable knife. It's probably going to be like $100. I'll have to look up the price, and I'll give you the date of the drop and everything at the end of the video when I do table specs. But you know, you buy a nice knife sometimes and you don't want to abuse it because you're afraid you're not ever going to have it that sharp again with that nice factory edge, or you're worried about breaking the tip off, and then what do? Guys, I promise you, these things are built with tolerances that are probably way above, not just this company, not just Work Tough Gear, most companies are built with tolerances to handle everyday things, let alone a lot more hard use stuff. So, you know, for those guys out there that really don't use their knives that much, man, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than taking your knife out, your brand new knife out of the box with that nice factory edge, and just thumping on it to see what it is capable of. So, you know, get out there, get in the woods, go for a hike, you know, throw up a couple YouTube shorts of you using your knife. Enjoy the length that they went to make this knife, provide the steel, harden it to the correct HRC, test it at different HRCs, find a handle material that was priced well enough that they could purchase and then manufacture into these handles, and then get hardened or anodized pieces to put that handle together. You know, there's a lot of work and moving parts that goes into these knives. So I think they want you to beat the crap out of them. So what's up, guys? I know you can't probably see me, but I hope you can hear me. One of the things that I love about a good EDC knife is always the ability for an appendix carry. So appendix carry for me makes a lot of sense. Even some cross draw knives are okay, but I'm going to do a video about different carrying options. And to be honest with you guys, this is going to sound ridiculous, but being a heavy guy, heavy set tactical, I'm a heavy guy. I'm a very big man, very broad. I got a little muffin top, yes. So one of the things that's annoying is when you're carrying firearms, you're carrying any kind of belt carry accessories as far as radios, knives, guns, anything. You know, there's a really annoying thing about the way that my body's shaped that makes it annoying to carry certain knives. But when it comes to appendix carry, that's a phenomenal option, never uncomfortable, and I always go back 45 on my right hip behind me. That's a really great up and down carry, or scout carry is also very comfortable for me, but I don't do that a lot. Unless it was like more of a tactical reasoning or more of a self-defense blade kind of reasoning. So utility wise, right here next to your pocket, you got all your accessories right here. It just makes sense. But one of the funny things is when I'm you know, when I'm sometimes carrying as a big guy with some gut can be really annoying. Carrying a firearm is just, unless it's like a SIG P365 or an old smaller model of Glock, or a little tiny, you know, what are those, Ruger LC9s or something like that size, it's you know, it's very annoying to carry a mid to large size handgun, being a big heavy guy. Now there are ways to, we'll get into that another day in another video. I don't talk about firearms a lot, but I am an avid supporter of the NRA, an avid supporter of firearms for home defensive reasons, and have a large respect for people that hunt avidly. I did hunt deer for many years. We had a hunting cabin my family was a part of up in Dew Shore, Pennsylvania, way up in the mountains. But I digress. I've been doing a lot more talking. I apologize. So this knife, I got some random little stuff here that I wanted to kind of mess around with as far as feather sticking a little bit, and I really want to I'm telling you guys, as a like carving or whittling knife, this has, like, look at that, it's just crazy. It guys, I do not blow smoke up Work Tough Gears, but they are a company just like Survive Knives. Survive Knives has never sent me a knife, but I really like their knives, so I make videos about them. That's how Work Tough Gear started. And then I was able to talk to Vic Lynn, and him and Alex from Aurora Borealis Knives. They were kind enough and generous enough to send me some knives to check out from time to time now, which I can't thank them enough. This is one of the blades that they sent me. Next up on our list that comes out, drops tomorrow, the video for, is the Work Tough Gear Wolverine and A8 Max. Wait till you see the tolerances on that steel. It will impress. So, with my long, annoying rant as an intro to this statement, Work Tough Gear makes knives that are affordable, that will last for you forever, that are very durable and very capable and usable. And I know sometimes it's hard to get one, but if you listen to when I tell you the drops are on my channel, on Choir Boys Cutlery, Gabe from The Last Huntsman is a great resource as well for drops. You know, we will talk about them as we get them, and if you're there on a drop time, you know, they're not sold out in 2 minutes, but they're sold out pretty quick. So just get on and buy one right at 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern, or whatever the time is for this drop, which I'll tell you at the end of the video. And you'll get one. So the reason I love Work Tuff Gear blades is because they're just very durable and very usable, and a lot of their designs make sense to me. They are very focused on the handle ergonomics, which a lot of companies fall short at. A lot of companies are all worried about the blade geometry, the blade steels. Magna cut, Magna cut, Magna cut. Guys, I have a bunch of knives in Magna cut, and I don't diss Magna cut. But holy crap, if you guys haven't bought a carbon steel blade and beat the crap out of it, you're not experimenting enough with steels, different types of steels. And as well, in my eyes, S35VN is a super steel if it's hardened correctly. The S35VN White River Exodus knife and tool blades, and the White River Firecraft series blades, and the White River Ursus 45, which they just dropped the cub for, the smaller version. But their S35VN, I don't know if I just said S45 by accident. Oh, the Ursus 45 I said. In S35VN is just ridiculous. Edge retention, not gonna stain, not gonna break the tip off. It is a perfectly hardened S35. So, guys, Work Tuff Gear is a company that makes affordable, hard use knives that are really, 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 really just enjoyable to use. And you don't have to worry about beating the crap out of them. You know, get out and use your knives. Get out and use your knives. It's why we buy them. It's why I'm overcritical on what I buy and why I buy it. Because I always end up using it pretty rough. So guys, I'm taking a piece of fat wood here with this nice 90-degree spine. Ooh, this is one of those good hard pieces, man. Holy crap, that's a hard piece. So then I'm gonna slice a little off there too. Just put some shavings right in that pile. Guys, I'm telling you, there's something about this blade. So they sent me two. I gave, my neighbor is a really cool guy, and you know, he likes Harleys and knives and all the stuff that I like. So I have two of these, the Kitsune T and S. One is this OD green T variant, and the S is bright orange handle scales. So I gave it to him to try out and kind of get some outside feedback, and so far really likes it. So yeah, just blades that are functional, affordable, usable knives. So we got a little pile of fat wood here. Let's check this edge out. So when you during those first couple strikes, you just got to find the right angle there. And I have this propped up with a piece of wood. There we go. I don't like launching sparks in the daytime. I feel like you can never see just how well they work. Okay, so from here to here is from here to here is choil, or I'm sorry, from where my thumb is back is jimping, and then from here to here, before you get to this downward swedge, this, you know, drop point downward swedge here, is this flat spot, and it's very sharp. I scraped the fat wood with it very easily. That whole time was with that edge there. But for scraping a fire steel, this from here down is where you get the sharper 90-degree spine. There you go. Oh yeah, there we go. Now guys, compared to a lot of their blades, because this is a thinner profile, it doesn't have that pronounced of a 90-degree edge. This is not going to be your best fire knife, but it definitely works. It definitely works. You just got to strike it pretty good. So this is not going to be the best fire knife, but we're going to go in and cut some veggies with it as well, because I have a good feeling that this is just a great all-around kind of camp knife or urban EDC knife. All types of really cool uses that you can get out of this blade. And they have, that 90-degree spine is so sharp, and for some reason just doesn't throw nearly as good as their thicker blades. It still throws great, but I know a lot of you are gonna like a knife that throws a little better of a spark if this is gonna be a camp knife, you know, a fire knife for you. Which is not really what this is for me. This is a very capable EDC, which means everyday carry blade. This is a very capable knife that you can carry every day for tasks at work. Everything as small as opening some packages, and everything as crazy as doing some fire prep and a little bit of batoning with it. It punches way above its weight class, and usually work tough gear knives do. So that's why I really like their stuff. I want to see how it is on a piece of natural wood. Guys, I'm telling you, it's like funny how well the geometry on these Kitsunes are. I love this little thing, guys. I'm telling you, I'm gonna carry this thing every day. It just, they never cease to amaze me. Some of their designs that are a little eccentric, like this one, are just different. So I'm like, oh man, what is that? It looks crazy. Super functional, super comfortable. You will get a little bit of hot spots, and I'll tell you, I'm always going to be honest with you guys about what I think about these blades as far as ergonomics and capability and steel choice. So let's do a little tip retention, but I wanted to just baton this straight in. Man, what a beast. I'm going in at an angle. Telling you guys, and it's so funny when I do a tabletop. I love doing the tabletop review with specs and pricing at the end, so you can see that mirror polished edge is not even hindered at all. So I love this thing. Let's do a tip retention just a little bit, guys. I'm so tired of people taking a paper thin folder or a paper thin knife that is in a hard HRC steel, a hard carbon or a hard stainless, and stainless is a lot more brittle, you know, and sticking it in something and breaking the tip right off like an OTF knife and saying, oh, well, you know, you can't depend on that. No shit, guys, it's paper thin. I would not be disappointed or unimpressed if this tip broke. It's very, very thin. This is meant to be an EDC knife. This is meant to be a, you know, this is a 1/2 inch rod. It is very, very thin. It's meant to be an everyday carry, more of a utility style everyday carry blade. And man, I really like that handle. It just gives you some crab. I'm telling you, we're gonna do a little bit of Joe X style tip retention. All right, so there's a little more meat in the tip than I thought, truly. Now, Jesus. Almost looks like a slight curve. Maybe slight on that very tip. But that was hard, dude. Oh! Guys, I was being way too hard on this knife. Vicklin, I'm so sorry, man. You know I love your blades. This was a total accident, actually. I was gonna just start backing off of this tip retention thing. And guys, what's funny is this is still a perfectly functional blade, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I'm going to reprofile this. But that's exactly why I did what I did. I did some extremely hard prying. Notice there was a little bit of a bend in the tip and tried to bend it back, which usually results in a broken tip if it's a thin profile. If it's a thicker profile, usually you can bend it back, but this was thin. I put a kink in it one side, then tried to take it back, and it snapped. So now you guys see, you know, you can't hammer it in like a nail and bend it, but man, you saw me prying out that wood. The only time it broke was after I did that real deep one right there. So, still a super functional knife, literally. When you're, as far as carving, cutting, whittling, anything like that, this is absolutely still 100% functional. So let's go either cut some more stuff or we'll go right to the tabletop, because I really wanted that point for some vegetable cutting. It's okay. Made a mistake today. Went way too hard on the tip of this very thin profile Kitsune T by Work Tough Gear. Way too hard. I was hammering it in and prying it, as you have seen in the previous video, previous part of the video. So I just wanted to say, it still clicks into the Kydex just fine. Still fully functional as a slicing and cutting utility blade. You know, in a survival situation, I would much rather have something larger to depend on. But, you know, at least you guys know what you can and can't do with your thinner profiled SK85 blades. Vicklin sent me this one, and I feel terrible that I broke the tip on it. But, you know, he knows that I'm one of the guys that really likes to use my knives pretty hard. And that's why Work Tough Gear sends out their blades to smaller channels and guys like me to review, because they are not afraid for us to push them to the limits and see what happens. You know what I mean? They are not afraid of that because they make solid knives with solid materials. Now, this is an extremely thin profile on this blade. Very thin tip. I say that in the video, and then I proceeded bend it a little bit, so I tried to bend it back and it broke. So I'm going to just reprofile this. I'm going to bring this swedge in, this top swedge I'm going to bring in. I'm going to take this sweeping belly out, and I am going to, a lot of the times, guys, I'm going to make a video on this. A lot of the times you can take this belly and this swedge and run them down to meet right along this angled part, or this, not angled part, this angle line here from the angles of the grinds. Usually that is a great point to have them meet at if you're reprofiling a knife. So, we're going to talk a little more about this on the tabletop, show you some specs, competitive options, other Work Tough Gear stuff that I enjoy, drop times, release times, and pricing, all that good stuff. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Sometimes, like the old favorite bumper sticker of my dad's, shit happens. What's up guys, John from heavysettactical. This is the last segment of the video, which is the tabletop review. Now this blade, I did accidentally chip off, and I'm in the middle of reprofiling the tip. I did break off about a quarter of an inch maybe. So guys, this is the Kitsune T designed by Jeremy Boulder Valentine. That's his maker's mark there. I'm gonna do some comparison stuff. They have the Kitsune T here, which has a more gradual layout on the top. The Kitsune S is actually more of a harpoon. So this jimping here will ramp up and then have a higher top. It's just a little bit more up to here maybe. My neighbor's actually checking it out, doing some testing with it because I wanted to get some outside opinion, you know, just for S's and G's, shits and giggles. So anyway, Jeremy Boulder Valentine designed this. Work Tough Gear Knives produced this. Guys, this was one of the most slicey, most functional knives. And the first iteration, which I'll just show you right now a while. This is the Kitsune T right here. The S is a little more of a harpoon. That's the orange one in my previous shorts. And then this is the original. So the original Jeremy Boulder Valentine designed Kitsune L had a G10 with red liner handle, and it was a much thicker profile. Hope you guys can see that okay. So what they did was they, you know, I think, and what's really funny, guys, is this was a super functional knife. If you go back and watch my review of this, I batoned a bunch of wood with it, did a little bit of carving and feather sticking, and honestly, guys, this knife, the handle was not built for a bushcraft knife, and this is more of a clip point, you know, but honestly, this knife is just a workhorse, just like everything else they do. And I'm really, really digging the blade shape. I'm in love with that blade shape. It was just super thick and chunky, but super slicey and very, very, very usable. So this is the smaller, newer iteration. They went with N690 Cryo in the original. Now, on this variant here, you have SK85. So this is the Kitsune T. Excellent results in my testing. I batoned through some pressure treated and some smaller regular natural logs, and then I did some crazy tip testing, knowing that I was going to break the tip, but I really wanted to see what it would take because the tip just wouldn't break, as you saw in the video earlier. So the Kitsune T, Jeremy Boulder Valentine, maker's mark, designer's mark, I should say. SK85, which has an HRC of 56 to 58. The overall length is 7.85 inches. So from tip to tip, honestly, mine is missing 1/4 of an inch. But yeah, I reprofiled it. Now I just have to sharpen it and polish the rest of that edge up. Guys, the edge holding ability, the edge retention ability of this SK85 is always really shocking, especially with that convex edge. It's always very, very good. So the overall length is 7.85 inches. The blade length is 4.2 from the handle to the tip. The cutting edge is 3.5 from the choil to the tip. The thickness is 0.15 inches thick. And with that swedge, it makes the blade look a little thinner than it is, but you still have some chunk there. Very, very, very stout EDC blade, but very slicey profile. Love that saber grind. Very comfortable. The jimping is really aggressive. You know, I'm going to be honest, it's very aggressive and a little sharp on either side, but it definitely works out just fine. I had no uncomfortable moments. You know, maybe a little bit when I was really stabbing into the wood. Maybe just a little bit of sharpness on either edge here, but that's, you know, they chamfered it a little bit. They rounded it on the edge a little bit and took that, you know, sharp 90-degree part off, but that 90-degree edge off, but it's very functional. It's a saber grind with a convex edge, and the weight is 4.3 ounces. Then with the sheath, great Kydex sheath, no rattle. Comes with a button strap. I was carrying this on the front right as an appendix carry. Super nice. Just really, really loving this this variant. Very different from the original. The original was, you know, a big clip point. It's a very carryable knife, you know, for EDC stuff. It's a little big for some people's taste in EDC, but I usually carry a bigger blade on me with that clip point. And guys, one of the things about these designs is that awesome where kind of bridge here from the finger choil to the back of the spine, where you have that pinch grip control over the knife, so you can really just have extremely good control and have you know, kind of be locked in there from the back of the knife, the spine of the knife, to where that finger choil meets. It's right on your thumb, as if you were naturally just going like that to pinch something. It's a very natural grip. and with that bulbous handle. It's a very unique design, but I honestly really like it for an EDC knife. You know, if I'm just doing a pinch grip up here or up here, you know, you can do all kinds of grips. It's very, very functional as a blade. But the new iteration definitely caught my eyes, and I really, out of all the testing that I did with this, I carried it for a week or so and then did my testing video for you guys. You know, we cut up some cardboard, all kinds of stuff in the video, and I really loved it. They did a great job with the G10. Rocky Mountain Tread, in my opinion, is okay if it's nice and shallow, and they take off that residual spikiness, and that is exactly what they did. Work Tough Gear never ceases to impress me with their designs, with their execution of other people's designs, and yeah, just the overall package. So this is $135 exactly, and down in the description I will have the URL to the website. Also, I'm going to pause this just for 1 second and grab the release date, guys. So we are at $135. Their shipping is extremely fast. Their shipping is free. Also, I just can't get over sometimes how functional their designs are. And sometimes they look a little eccentric, but guys, this is definitely one to try out. Even though I broke the tip, does not mean anything. I was doing something that I told you guys immediately was a bad idea. You should not be hammering this in and prying it, you know, hammering it in like a nail and prying the crap out of it. I got to fix that tip there. But I brought the swedge down, met that grind line right there, and brought up that belly. I'm just going to take a little off this belly and bring it out. It's a very, very pointy tip starting out. You guys can see that in the video that you just watched. So $135, February 21st, 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern time. 135 bucks, 8 Eastern time, 5 Pacific time. You guys can get yourself one at worktoughgear.com. I'll put a link in the description. So guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. And my email is always in the link in the description for my email, which is heavysettactical@gmail.com. You guys can hit me up with any questions or, you know, opinions on other knives, or if you're someone that likes my channel and wants to send me something to test out that you think is really cool or want some opinions on or a design of your own, don't be afraid to hit me up. So guys, thank you, and this is John from Heavyset Tactical. Like always, guys, stay safe and stay heavy.